Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Relationships. And Ancestry DNA did it again, outing cheaters with undeniable proof. This one's from user Throwaway Just Done. How to best handle the kids? Just found out they weren't mine. I was married to this woman for about 12 years, dated her during my high school and college years, and haven't been with anyone else. I was under the impression that was the same case for her. We got married when the both of us were 24 and the twins just turned 8. I only found out they weren't mine last week because of those Ancestry DNA kits. What started out as an attempt to cure boredom during lockdown turned into this mess. The soon-to-be ex-wife fought me tooth and nail when I mentioned my interest in doing the test. Said it was just a waste of money. Her constant refusals only made me want to do it more, so I did it in secret. Now, I know why she was so adamant. I found out who their biological father was, and tracked him down to a house about 20 blocks from where I lived. We're extremely similar in appearance and personality. I can't even look in mirrors now because of that. I moved in with a friend upon discovery and kept little contact with the soon-to-be ex-wife. Plan on serving her with divorce papers once I'm mentally prepared to face her. My only concern now is how to approach the twins. They are the true victims in all of this, and yet my heart aches looking at them. I don't think I can keep being a father to them knowing what I know now. They've been extremely worried about me, but I can't even listen to their voices without bursting into tears. To those betrayed with kids, how do you process the idea that your children were never yours? OP, you're in a very difficult position right now, but you've got one thing right. Your children at this moment are victims here, as are you, so you need to focus on that relationship. And you need to keep in mind one thing. Even though they may not be your biological kids, you're the only dad that they know. And the fact that there is no biological connection doesn't mean that there isn't any love there. That's why it hurts so much to you, because you love them so much. But the question that you pose is a very difficult one. So now let's go through some community comments to see the kind of advice they gave OP, and then an edit from OP. Enert Mitt says, intentional parental fraud should be a punishable crime. It absolutely amazes me that there are no legal repercussions for the evil women that do this crap. In a just world, she would owe you a considerable amount of money as a form of restitution. I suggest that you take time away from everyone to gather yourself. You're absolutely correct in saying those kids are victims as well. They don't deserve to be punished for having a lying cheat of a mother. Hopefully, after some time, you will be able to be in their lives again. They're going to need you to help them navigate this awful situation your soon-to-be ex-wife put all of you in. She's a good fella says, this is such a sticky situation and I'm so sorry. You have to remember that you are the father to those children even though it's not biological. You are the only one they know. If you abandon them right now, forever, it will end up hurting them so badly. I know it hurts you, but if you love them, don't abandon them. You don't have to talk to her, but just don't shut them out. As for the situation, did you sign their birth certificates? If so, I highly suggest contacting an attorney for assistance in the matter. We have a constitutional right to our children, whether adopted or biological. So he has a right to them which could supersede yours. You have to decide what you want to do. Especially if you signed their birth certificates, you could end up paying her child support. So it's best to just talk through your options with an attorney. Next, I highly suggest a therapist if you aren't already seeing one. It will help to externalize your thoughts and feelings to an objective third party. OP responds, I did sign their birth certificates. I have been looking for good attorneys to represent me, but have no clue what sort of medium I should use to find a good one. OP's edit. The biological father wants to be part of the twins' lives. He was unaware of their existence until I tracked him down and was surprised to know that my soon-to-be ex-wife was married at the time of her affair. I have no reason to disbelieve him. Edit 2. A good number of you asked about how my soon-to-be ex-wife reacted to this. I'll work on a separate post on that tomorrow. Just building up the courage to type out this post basically took all night. It's almost 7 in the morning where I am. Short update. I looked into both attorneys and therapists that could help me with my situation. I was able to find a possible attorney in the last couple of hours and will have an interview tomorrow. I'll keep looking for a good therapist. Someone seemed to think I was scared of my soon-to-be ex-wife and was confused how I was able to confront the other man. No, I'm not scared. I refused to be possibly vulnerable around her when I have such little control over my emotions. I'm also worried that my mental health will also affect my twins. They would sense something was wrong and blame themselves if I couldn't act as I normally would around them. That's one of the major reasons I moved out. Until I had my counseling, I will continue to stay away from my home. I had told the twins that I was going on a work trip when they caught me packing, so hopefully that helps. I am working on trying to properly summarize my situation with the soon-to-be ex-wife. There's no chance of reconciliation there. A good number of you advised that I get tested for STDs, and I will do so. P.S. The twins are both girls. I should have clarified that. I prefer calling them my twins over my daughters. Well, OP, it seems like you're on the right track. Therapist, lawyer, and taking care of your kids. That's all you gotta think about right now. And we're going to move on now to OP's latest update, where he tells us the whole story of what's going on here. A good number of people wanted to know how my circumstances snowballed into what it became today. My soon-to-be ex-wife and I began dating when we were both 16. But knew each other since middle school. I would say that our relationship back then was strong. We were the type of kids that avoided any situation with too much conflict, so we did our best to be understanding of one another. There was nothing in our 8 years of dating that stuck out to me as potential affairs. We never had breaks and we went to the same university. If she cheated during that period, the only way I would know would be a confession. I'm not going to wait for one. We went on to work in the same company after graduation, but in separate fields. I knew what her schedule was, and she knew mine. We would even meet whenever we had spare time for lunch. We then got married in June 2008, and shortly after, my mother passed away. It was in a car accident. I cut my honeymoon short to attend her funeral, and my soon-to-be ex-wife was supportive of me at the time. She would take care of everything while I grieved for my mother with my father. The house, the bills, therapy session, emotional support. She did everything a person could. That was who I saw as my wife. Whoever she is now, I have no idea. I struggled with depression and nearly lost my career. If it hadn't been for my father and her, I don't think I would have ever recovered. I came out of it with the knowledge that my loved ones would have wanted me to be better. So I worked 3 times harder to advance in my career. I wanted to be able to support a family that my father could spoil as a grandfather. My soon-to-be ex-wife, while also advancing in her career, seemed shocked at my drive. I recall her saying that she didn't think she could keep up with me and that she was worried I would leave her behind. Perhaps she developed an insecurity there. I was able to build enough capital to purchase a good house, and we began trying for a baby in 2012. It was during this period that she cheated on me. There was no indication that she was cheating on me. No drop in intimate drive, no hiding text messages on her phone, not even a single mention of any new friends. I had no clues whatsoever. As far as I knew at the time, our efforts were paying off. So, once my twins were born, I had everything I dreamed of. A loving wife, children to adore, and my father's chance to spoil them. He was so happy, loved them with all his heart. He passed away only 2 years ago, practically thanking me with tears for being his son. I don't even want to know what would have happened had he been here to witness all this. As time went on, there would be cracks showing my soon-to-be ex-wife's narrative. In every argument since then, she would call the twins my twins, accuse me of flirting with co-workers, or grill me on what kind of women I preferred even though she already knew. What seemed to be a small issue to me, in hindsight, were red flags that pointing to her having had an affair. So now lockdown hit, and we're both, thankfully enough, able to work from home, albeit with a hit to our salaries. My soon-to-be ex-wife had mentioned that she had taken an ancestry test in the past, and I was hopeful that I could find distant relatives to connect with. I wanted to map out a complete family tree to show off to the twins, and even planned a scavenger hunt around it. Needless to say, when I pitched the idea to my soon-to-be ex-wife, she panicked, told me that was the stupidest idea she had ever heard and that I already had the family I wanted. What if the relatives I found were dangerous or even criminals? She was grasping at straws to dissuade me from taking that test. I could feel this drop in my gut that wouldn't go away. Why would she be so against my finding family members, especially now that I have none left breathing? So I secretly had my twins and I take the test and took them for treats afterwards to buy their silence. Waiting for the results was hell on earth. My soon-to-be ex-wife seemed to catch my unease and tried to distract me with intimacy, meals, and date nights. I also had the stress of making sure my twins wouldn't mention the test to her, so I bought them a Nintendo Switch to preoccupy them. They had been begging for one, so I was hoping that would be enough. Once the results came in last week, I saw I wasn't even considered a close match to them. The closest I found to their biological parents was my soon-to-be ex-wife and some name I didn't recognize. I nearly vomited right then and there. I had to get out of there, so I waited until my soon-to-be ex-wife left on a run, packed up, told my twins I was going on a work trip, and called a work colleague to help me find a place to stay. He was kind enough to let me stay with him until I was back on my feet. I took leave from work and spent nearly 2 days just crying and cursing my soon-to-be ex-wife. She would call and text nearly non-stop until I told her that I knew about the twins and muted her. Then I got angry. I had to find the other man and make him understand what he did to my family. He was extremely prevalent on social media, so I knew his face now and I recognized a park outside his apartment window in a specific post. From what I could tell, he was single and never was married. I then waited in that park the next day and was lucky enough to catch him while he was on a jog. He looked so much like me, just with a longer face and thinner hair. I called his name and asked him if he knew my soon-to-be ex-wife. He seemed confused at first. When I showed him a picture, he actually recognized her and told me that he had met her during a work conference 8 years ago. I asked him if he slept with her then, and he actually told me right then and there that they did. He seemed to understand where this was headed and asked me who I was. Not going to lie, there were numerous instances where I wanted to punch his lights out. But I had to keep my cool. I couldn't afford to get any spots on my record, and an assault charge would have put me out of a job. We sat down on a park bench and swapped stories. When he found out that the twins were likely his, he was shell-shocked. He got on his knees and begged me to give him a chance to get to know them. To be a father, he said. I told someone here that I had never seen a man as distraught as him until I looked in the mirror after the confrontation. At the moment, I have no reason to distrust him. He's been more open than she has been. Nevertheless, I won't allow him to meet the twins without a professional to mediate. I had to call him today to inform him of that. I told him it was to protect the mental health of the twins, to which he agreed. Now, I'm just waiting for the legal side of things to work its course. I was told by the attorney I interviewed that I needed some documents that I had left back home. I'm not looking forward to that. Edit. Someone in the comments brought up something I had overlooked in my explanation, which was the question of my sperm count. During our attempts of conceiving a child, I had sperm count done and was told they were pretty good. We had only tried to get pregnant for a couple of weeks before she had a positive pregnancy test. If you see what I'm getting at here, that means she cheated during the only month we were both off birth control and actively trying to conceive. Wow, OP, so your soon-to-be ex-wife cheated out of opportunity. Because from what you tell us, she wasn't flirting with anybody online or, texting people that she knew or other co-workers or new friends. She went to a work conference, saw a guy that looked like you, and decided to get in bed with him. Of course, this doesn't mean that she's more or less guilty of cheating. It's just as bad either way. Now, regarding the bio dad, it will definitely be a tough situation you seeing your kids have another father, let's say. But you are doing the right thing. That doesn't mean it's not gonna hurt. It probably will. But hopefully with the therapy that you'll be going through, you'll be strong enough to deal with the situation. Now, like I said before, this is OP's latest update, so we do not know how this story continues at the moment. In any case, OP, as things stand right now, I think you're doing the right thing. You're trying to keep your kids safe, and you're moving forward with the divorce. So, up until the next time you update us, I wish you all the best. And so, we've reached the end of the video. I truly hope you guys liked it. If you did, go ahead and click like. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Also, here are more videos from my channel that you might enjoy. And having said all that, I will see you guys on the next video.